Hello friends, it's good to be with you again. So we're going to be talking about prayer, the key to victory. In the Gospel of Matthew chapter 16 and 19, when Jesus asked his disciples, "Whom do men say that I am?" It was Peter who boldly gave that explosion revelation that thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. Jesus told him that he would be called Peter. He's Peter, but he would be called a stone because of the revelation that he gave. And whatsoever he give him the key. Whatsoever he bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. And whatsoever he loose in heaven shall be loose on earth. And so, if this is the case, it means that he must be a man of prayer. Prayer is the key. Prayer is that weapon that God has given to us, particularly the saints. I recognize that the church do not like to pray. Church folks don't like to pray. But prayer is where you get your success from. Jesus said, "Man ought always to pray and not to faint." Not to lose heart. Not to give in. But continue praying. Pray without ceasing. Pray because the devil wants to sift you as wheat. You'll find it in the Gospel of Luke chapter 18 and verses 1, where Jesus said man ought always to pray. And also in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 26 and verses 41, he reminds us to watch and pray, lest we enter into temptation. He said, "The spirit is indeed willing, but the flesh is weak." In essence, you wanted to pray, but your flesh demands saying it ain't time to pray yet. But if you want to be successful in life, in ministry, in Christendom, you have to be a person of prayer. Jonah disobeyed God in the book of Jonah chapter 2 and verses 2, and he was put in hell. He said, the Bible said the Lord prepared a fish to take Jonah in and swallow him. It's an awful position to be in, an awful place to be in the belly of a fish, where it's hot as hell. And Jonah said, "I cry out to the Lord because of my affliction, because of what I'm going through." And he said the Lord heard him, and the Lord answered his prayer. And so if you want to be successful, if you want the Lord to answer your prayer, you have to be a person of prayer. If you want the Lord to do something for you, you've got to be a person of prayer. In the book of Acts chapter 12 verses 5, the Bible said Peter was put in prison. Peter and Paul, they were two significant guys in terms of ministry. Because of his ministering the propagation of the gospel of Jesus Christ and winning souls to the kingdom, he was put in prison. And the church began to pray for him while he was in prison. The church was praying. I tell you today that God sees and knows what you need even before you ask him. Even before you kneel down in prayer, God knows what you wanted from him. And so the church began to pray that the Lord would do something to deliver Peter, because at this stage in ministry, we cannot afford to lose him right now. And so the Lord heard the prayers of the church, and an angel of the Lord, dispatched from glory, went into the prison, tapped Peter on his body, tell him, "Get up, grip yourself, put on your clothes, put on your sandals, because we're going to get out of here." And the angel said to him, "You follow me." And I believe that's where men get the idea of sliding door. The doors that you come up to the doors and it automatically open. Well, that's where when the angel approached the doors and the gate, the Bible said they open up to him, and Peter was behind him. The angel led Peter right to Mary's house, where the prayer meeting was. They were praying for Peter to be delivered. The prayer was answered, and he came to the door and knocked. They wasn't expecting such a great victory. Prayer is powerful. Prayer is a great weapon Prayer will bring down the gates of hell that is against you. Prayer will lift you out of your muck and the mire. Prayer will give you victory, my brother and my sister. And he knocked, and the young lady Rhoda came to the door, came and answered and said, she went and she recognized Peter's voice. And she said, Peter is at the door. She went back into the prayer meeting and said, Peter's at the door. They said, you gotta be joking. Not Peter, because he's in prison. He can't get loose from there. How is he going to be at the door? Now, they were praying for God to do something for them, but somehow their faith wasn't to the level to believe that God is able to do for Peter what he did for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, what he did for Daniel, to be a great deliverer. And they recognized after she continued to remind them that Peter was at the door, and they went there, they discovered that it was indeed Peter, all because of prayer. Prayer is indeed the victory, my brothers and my sisters. There's nothing that prayer would not do. I encourage you to be a person of prayer. Early in the morning, the scripture said Jesus would go out into the garden and pray, because at that time the body is rested, the mind is ready to receive and to have that interaction with the Spirit of his Father. If Jesus had to pray and get the presence of God in his life, even though he was God manifested in the flesh, he was God-man, he find it necessary to pray, teaching us that we should have that communication always, that intimate relationship with God through prayer. Let me encourage you today to be a person of prayer. Now, let me also give you today's quiz. And the quiz is as follows. Who made Lot drink or get drunk with wine so that he unknowingly fathered a child with each of his daughters? Was it his wife, or was it his daughters, or was it Abraham? I wait to hear your answer. You may call me at the end of this video presentation. There is a number you can call, or you can email me, or if you want to, you can go on YouTube and you can watch all of the proceedings, all of these video presentation on YouTube. God bless you, and I love you. Tune in next week for another episode.